Okay. And we're live, I think. Looks good. Check everything's running. Test. If that works. Be quite quiet. Look. Okay, that should be better, I think. And streaming on Kick and on Twitch and on YouTube. So I'll just make sure everything's running correctly. Okay, looks good. I don't know if anyone's in the chat yet, but I'll just start talking anyway. Hello, welcome to the chat. Today we're going to be working on a drunk toad ex-troll hunter, supposedly, who likes to tell tall tales of his exploits around the world. So we'll see how it goes. Hey Saidan, how's it going, mate? Thanks for joining. I'm going to be doing a character illustration today for a named character as opposed to just a random dude. But we'll see how it goes. How are you, mate? You had a good week? Lazy Crow, welcome. Thanks for jumping in. Stealing the #1 spot already. How are you? Thanks for joining us, guys. I don't know if I can make this chat a little bit bigger. I've got a new multi-chat thing, so we should be able to see it. You can see it kind of on the right there. So it should show now the YouTube comments, as well as if anyone talks on Twitch or on Kick, because I'm streaming on Kick today as well. Just trying out some new things and seeing what works. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So we'll see what we're doing today. What type of toad is this character? So this guy is going to be a warrior. Well, he's going to be essentially labeling himself as an ex-troll hunter. Of course, there are no ex-troll hunters. That's not how the troll hunters work. But he's going to talk. He's the sort of toad you'd find at a pub, talking about all the dragons he slays and lots of other perhaps not so truthful bits of information. So yeah, he's going to be perhaps a bit of an exaggerator. We'll see when his story comes out. Throndix, thanks for joining us, mate. Appreciate you being here. How are you doing this fine evening? Very good, thanks. And yourself? What you been up to? What have all you guys been up to this week? Busy? I think a lot of people are back at school, students and uni students and stuff, so times are a-changing. Give him a big fancy hat, as is an obligation for all toads, of course. Squash his face a little bit there. He's going to be a bit chubby, as he has not fought a lot of things in recent times, but yeah, so I'm going to give him lots of weapons, a hook hand, and some guns as well. So he's going to have all the gear, and perhaps no idea. I actually got an idea for this guy from I don't know if anyone watches or listens to Mystery Quest by the Yogscast, but it was one of the characters in one of their episodes was like a mouse who was basically considered himself to be a celebrity, but actually made everything up. So yeah, that's where we got this idea from. Sidan, you're a teacher, right? Yes, I'm a teacher, but I work all year round, so holidays don't affect me too much. The advantage to being a language teacher, I guess, or disadvantage, perhaps. So school's normal for me. I think I did have some students on holiday, but yeah, things are busy again, which is good. Busy for me. Right, I've got lots of references I'm looking at, so I want this guy to be obviously in full toad gear, so he's going to have some beautiful clothes. Toads in acceleration must be dressed very well. It's an obligation. That's part of their culture. And this one is going to be dressed exceedingly exaggerated, as is necessary. This text is getting squashed. Let me just squash it in a little bit more. There we go. Frondix, quite happy and relieved actually. My grandpa had to get heavy heart surgery. Oh no. Which went perfectly. Okay, good. And he's already awake and looking good. So yeah, quite relieved it's done well. Oh, that's good. Good to hear. God, you must have been very stressed, I think. But that's good. Nice. I think when something like that happens in the family, it's just everyone's kind of waiting around and just hoping for the best. But yeah, good. Glad he's awake and recovered. Yeah, this week, I'll say busy week this week in terms of work, but I'm hoping to start working on a few more videos. The next Weird Folk video, actually, I'm going to try and get edited as soon as possible. Oh, this is not a very good frog face. Let me try this again. I'm trying to get the next video edited, but as with everything in life, I've had no time, so I'm hoping to get it done as soon as possible. It's pretty much ready. I've got all the images done. I think I shared it in the art on the Discord, in the art section. But yeah, I just need to get it edited really and write the script. And then I've got a few more videos I'm hoping to do. Hey Coffee Pixel, thanks for dropping in, mate. Appreciate you being here. Throndix, yeah, it was stressful. Back to school day, but everything's fine. So yeah, pure relief. Good. Yeah, it's the last thing you want when you're at school is to be thinking about, hoping for healthy family members and for things like surgery to go well. So yeah, good. It's all worked out. Right, we're going to give him the biggest hat possible, because that's very important. I'm very bad at drawing hats, and hats are a very important part of the English Civil War, and therefore a very important part of the acceleration. So the hat is extremely necessary. Yeah. hopefully this stream will be as exciting as last time. It was cool having Monster Garden drop in and his followers, and I had a bit of a surge on the YouTube channel and in the Discord as well with a few extra people joining, which was pretty cool. But yeah, I think this time probably going to be a bit more chill. That's fine. We got lots to be getting on with. Like I said, I'm gonna get cracking on this, and then in a little bit, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my idea for this video, but also for some of the TTRPG stuff that I want to be working on. I don't know if that makes him look drunk, or maybe. Doing a bit of a drunk face, but I'll figure that out afterwards. So yeah, I've got some stuff planned for the TTRPG, but I'll start working on this and then we can jump into that a little bit later. This video, I'm hoping, is going to be like what's a good way to describe it? It's going to be a character video, essentially. So it's going to be a few little stories, and the first one is going to be about this drunk fae called Barnabas Theobald the Third of Bury St Edmunds. It's a very ridiculous name for a very ridiculous frog, but he's going to be a bit of a con artist and a drunk, and just an old guy who's got lots of stories about stuff that he probably never did, like slaying dragons. So it should be a pretty fun one. It's maybe be a bit more light-hearted than my usual kind of creepy styles, but yeah, it should be pretty cool. Coffee Pixel Forg, that's right. Sidan, have you heard of velvet worms? Velvet worms. Are they the ones you use for like fishing? Velvet worms. Oh, velvet worms. No, I've not heard of them. They're kind of cool. They look a bit gross. I wouldn't want to touch one. These ones found in the UK? Are they? He's seen some stuff. He has indeed. He's well, he says he has. He's gonna be a bit of a strange guy, I think. Although he's not looking chonky enough. I might have to use the chonk modifier. There you go. That's immediately better. In fact, we can give him a bit more of a neck. So I want this guy to be quite bulbous, and his arms a bit long as well. So we'll chunk that too. There we go. That's better. Immediately better. Nice. He's gonna have like nice short stubby legs. Riffy, welcome to the stream, mate. I googled worms. Laughing ass, that's cute. Like their little legs. They do have cute little legs. You're right. Like almost like Pixar animated legs, and you can even see their little eyes. Oh, they're kind of cute, I guess. It's a bit lumpy. They squirt glue, but they probably don't live in the UK yet. Seems like a bit of an exotic creature. Although that one that you mentioned last week, what was it called? The beetle that shoots like hot acid. That doesn't really seem like something that would be in the UK, but apparently it is. It's pretty cool. His eye's a bit bigger, I think. Oh, he's looking pretty cool already. Right, we need to give him some little shoes, some little riding boots. And they're going to have some bow ties on them, of course. He needs to look fancy. He'll be standing on a empty bottle of beer. Because He's a bit of a drunk. Nice. Right, the plan is to give him lots and lots of swords and guns and, like I said, all the gear a troll hunter would have. In fact, he needs a nice big sash as well. Nice big belly sash. Like that. There you go. He's got his hook hand. He's going to have loads of swords, but he's only going to have one hand. So, right, I've got some references for swords. To make them look a bit more realistic. They are hungry, small, mindless worms. I've never heard of them before. Maybe I have velvet worms. We've got something similar. Is it like a silky worm or something in the UK that you dig up from the beach and you use it for fishing? Be quite a good way to do it. Riffy, hey, have a good stream. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Sidedown, bombardier beetle endangered in the UK. That's the one, yeah. That's what you mentioned last time. I'm definitely going to try and do something like that. I think that would be a really cool, like, troll, or I think that's what you said last time. Actually, you suggested it as a troll, or like a dragon. And we were talking about the shrike as well, like the bird that like impales stuff on thorns. So some really gnarly animals. We've mostly been drawing like whimsical animals at the moment, just like badgers and foxes and squirrels and stuff. But yeah, definitely need to go some more into the weird, for sure. But for now, a toad will do. He's gonna have his cross guard. He's gonna have some finger rings as well to protect his hands. So then we need to do good trick if anyone uses Procreate. If you want to draw a straight line, but everything's on one layer, a good way to do it is just make another layer. Copy the line. I don't want to do it like that. So it's kind of hanging down. And what I'll do is I'll just rotate this one here so it matches the line. There we go. And then when the two are done, you can just erase what's hidden, like that, and then merge the two together. Easy peasy. Bit of a cheat way to do it, but it works. And then draw this, so it's more of a what's it called, scabbard, or whatever it's called, a sword holder. Coffee Pixel, well, depending on how much booze he's had, I believe either way, he's likely seen something one way or the other. Yeah, he's going to be a kind of tall tale teller in the pub, and everyone who is a local perhaps has heard his tales like 100 times. But when new people come into the pub, like travellers or merchants who are heading down the road, he likes to regale them with tales in exchange for beers. So everyone is sick of his stories, but perhaps if it's the first time you've heard them, could sound quite interesting. But he's going to charge one beer per tale, so yeah, quite steep price. Not sure the cost of a beer in the acceleration, but yeah, not cheap if you have to pay per tale. I love shrikes. Butcher birds, very interesting. Has anyone read The Hunger Games? Yes. Good books. Read them and watched the films. I actually really like the films as well. I think the whole kind of like tween adventure story type thing is such a massive like industry with books, but they're so good. Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, Hunger Games, all like schools or competitions where people have to compete against each other. And it works so well. Review. Oh yes. I never heard these birds. I live though. I heard them live. Yeah, I've never seen them. I've never seen their impalements, but I've definitely heard that these guys were talking about them in the last stream, so I had a good look. In one of the other streams, so I had a good look through some of them. Very gnarly birds. Nice. So has wouldn't the lies from the toad anger the troll hunters? So that's going to be a little part of his story. It's kind of disrespectful to call yourself a troll hunter without being a troll hunter. So it's like the whole thing like stolen valor, where you like, you know, it's like someone pretending to be in the military as like a veteran, just to get some valor or some respect from people. So it's going to be a similar sort of thing. This troll is super old and super drunk, and nobody takes him seriously. So the troll hunters pretty much just leave him alone because he's like, it's like a harmless old drunk guy. So people don't really care. But yeah, I think he could probably upset the troll hunters a little bit if he maybe talks a bit too much. Oops, we're getting kind of an overlay problem on the... I've got a new multi-chat feature up, and I just seen that my overlay... What I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit it. Sorry, 1 second. I will get rid of this. Save. This might delete it. Is it working now? Okay, right. That should load in a second, but that should work. So it should just have the one chat as opposed to two chats riding over the top of each other. Throndix on Twitch. Whoever hasn't read Hunger Games has missed a good part of the childhood. Oh well, that's something. Messages on Twitch appear twice. Oh, yeah, there you go. I've just corrected it, so it should be fine now. But so with the multi-chat, we should see red comments from YouTube, and then I guess white comments from Twitch. And then I don't know if anyone's going to jump in on Kick. Like I said, I'm just trying Kick out a little bit, but maybe those comments would be in a different thing. Let me test it. We'll see. Test chat. And we'll see if that pops up. Ah, there you go. Okay, so it should come up in the stream as well. Nice. So I guess the Kick comments will be a different color as well. Nice. So yeah, I'm gonna do him as a bit of a drunk, and I'm gonna do a few little I'm gonna do one big image, which is what we're working on today, and then I'm gonna do a few little sketches, and it's gonna be I'm hoping to do a small, really simple animated short story. So a bit like Douglas the Fae, the little short I did about the thespian who becomes a troll. I'm hoping to do like that. But yeah, we'll see. See if it works. I'm considering getting Procreate Dreams, like the little animation app from the guys who make Procreate, because I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, I'm going to try and do a few more little animations in normal Procreate before I try that. Just to see if I like doing animations, essentially. Right, this guy's going to have a gun as well. Very important to have as many muskets as possible. And with its big magazine. I always make these magazines quite big because they're supposed to be one magazine which fits the pistols as well as the rifles, which is why they're quite big. I'm kind of going for a rule of cool here because I haven't really developed the lore behind the maglock rifles and maglock pistols, but yeah, I like the silhouette of them, so they're kind of staying for now at least. It's going to have a kind of pull trigger. Daniel Lopez, hi. Hey mate, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate you being here. Frog folk, yes. We're drawing a little drunk frog for this stream. He's going to be telling everybody tales of things he probably didn't do, but he's likes to exaggerate. I think he needs a few more swords though. Just trying to find some good references. Maybe for like a dagger. That's quite a good dagger reference. I'll stick a dagger in here. And we'll do a kind of raised lump here. It sticks out at the bottom. Maybe another gun would be good. Just copy this. Second one there. But we'll just do it's visible. There's lots of guns. Is always a good idea. Oops, erasing too much there. We got hit by the booze. You did indeed. In fact, that's what we need as well. More alcohol. Let's edit this. Oops. We'll distort it a little bit so it looks different from the other one. I probably shouldn't have deleted all that though. Oops. Okay. Right, we'll start again. And then try again. So they look a little bit different. I've got lots of people in now. I was sick. I'm no longer. So now I'm working on novels again. Nice. Yeah, it's getting towards the colder season. I'm not sure where you're from, Saidan. Remember, like North America perhaps. But yeah, in the UK it's getting colder, so everybody's getting sick now. Could you start on your novels again? Riffy, I have to work on commission, but I'm all ears. Really like the vibes here. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I think I said that in a previous video. It's something I do as well. It's nice to kind of sit in on other people's streams whilst you're doing your own illustrations or drawings and things like that. It'd be like a fun way to just have something in the background whilst you're working. Appreciate being here. He's really ready for the troll apocalypse. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's a good vibe actually. He could be like end of the world type guy. Oh, that's not a bad idea. That would be like a fun cult where it's like they're worried about the rise of trolls taking over the world, or they're worried about maybe like a dragon that's supposed to destroy the world. That could be a pretty cool short story. Interesting. Good idea. Frederick, hey mate, thanks for dropping in. Hi everyone. Riffy, hi. So down. Feels weird not to be in the top 3. Yeah, you're normally on it. You got your spot taken. Daniel Lopez the Frog, and that's how I killed Owl Dragon Noctilus Troll Hunter Michael BS. That's essentially going to be the vibe. He's going to be a real arrogant frog. I'm not sure I'll do too much voice acting with some of these videos, but I might do a little bit of like a guy with some swagger, and he he's again like really exaggerating his ability and saying how in his heyday he could take anyone and no one could stop him, and he's just got a few swishy swords. And people don't. I think I might do that in the video as well. You're never really sure if he's telling the truth or not. It's never really clear. But yeah, everybody kind of just ignores him because he's a harmless old drunk. Laser Crow, this seems like an absurd amount of weapons for just one drunk toad. Yes. Do you know, I've been rereading Kill 6 Billion Demons, and the author of that, a lot of the characters he just gives like 6 guns for no reason, and then like 10 daggers and bombs and machine guns and ammunition patches and things like that. It's just awesome. It's like a real vibe. And so I am absolutely copying that because that's just cool. It's a cool way to draw. It's something I always try to do a lot in like some of my earlier images. I don't know if anyone's had the chance to look at my Instagram. No pressure. I'd say I pretty much don't use it anymore, so no reason to have a look. But a lot of my like older illustrations on there are just basically dudes and gals with lots of weapons. Pretty standard comic book stuff. So Dan, I am Canadian. Nice. Ah, yeah, I knew you were. I thought so. I remember you mentioning a few times about your homeland. Laser Crow, how do you appease the YouTube stream comment section so much with the work of great arcane magic? Yeah, you two are always at the top, so Sidon is taking your place. So, sorry for stealing your crown. You can take it now. I like this competition. I would do more spam if I wrote anything recently. Maybe I'll do a weapon. That's my 3rd day of uni. What first thing I'm doing? Trying to make my study unrelated. Character lineup, of course, but I for sure can't do it at home. Nice, Frederick. What are you studying, mate? It's one thing I kind of wish I had done at uni is more art-related stuff. I did photography at uni, but perhaps an illustration degree would have been more useful, or like animation. Yeah, something along those lines. Would not, should not. I think maybe that's enough weapons. Maybe we'll give him one more big one just on his back. A big great sword. In fact, we'll do it as a separate. Separate things that can go all the way down the bottom. Kind of like a Zweihander. Right, we'll do it as like a really big rapier sword. That's really exaggerated big one. Little round case at the end. Right, maybe we'll like that, so it's not covered up by his hat. I don't want it to cover up the handles too. There we go. And then erase all this. And big sword. There we go. Very, very ridiculous swords. Nice. The war for the top 3 spot. Don't make me pull up the cake recipe. I'm gonna have like some people are gonna look through like the VODs in the future, and there's gonna be all these like spams of like people just competing for the top spot, cake recipes, people's book ideas, everything. I like it. I appreciate the level of competition. Right, so fancy colours. we're going to go for the typical English Civil War yellow. We'll do this as his base foundational colour. There we go. And he's going to be, I'm not sure what kind of colour toad he's going to be, maybe just brown. Like a grey brown, because you can't really give a frog a beard. Or a toad a beard, sorry. So we'll do him as like a grey colour. And we'll just do this as the foundation. And then we'll edit from here. I'm feeling a bit more confident about hands. I'm practicing a little bit more. Is that the right way around? Okay, that's fine. It's a bit of a stubby hand, but hands are always something I've struggled with, so I do need a lot more practice with that. I have a whole book to spam in here. It's like a, what's it called? Nuclear chess. Nuclear deterrent, potentially. Nice. I mean, I'm a design student. It's just that I often do my own stuff when I'm there. I don't know, for some reason I'm less motivated to do it at home. I get that. Yeah, I think it's like, it's just the environment, right? And especially if you hang out with design students, or you just experience like with your design class and stuff, I think it's probably motivating. It's like they say, you know, about, it's like this kind of thing where you stream and where you watch a stream and you draw at the same time. I feel like a lot of people do that because it's it's like being in a room with creative people. It's something I would like to do is join a local I'll do that as like a enclosed handle. I want to join a local art group just to go and do some traditional drawing every week. And it just keeps you motivated and working on stuff. So that's cool. Yeah, I think it totally makes sense. Being more motivated at uni. I have an anecdote one, but they're all in Russian. I'm too lazy to translate and too Russian. The funny thing is, he probably can't draw that rapier from his back, and it kind of adds to the character in a good way. Yeah, it's a bit ridiculous, just like him. I agree. There we go. Also, often it's kind of hard to translate them. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, trying to do. You know, I was considering doing, trying to do some of these like streams or videos in French, where I would perhaps try and write the scripts, and then my French friends would help me to translate them, or to see if my translations are good, and then I would post them on YouTube, just as like an alternative language channel. I don't know too much about French YouTube, but I thought it'd be like a cool addition to the project. So I would have kind of like two groups of people. I would imagine a lot of like people in different languages, like you guys, would be I guess watching it in English anyway, because there's so much English content. But I'm not sure if there's stuff in Russian or German or in French, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just like an additional thing. That's what I'm talking about. Most of them are really hard to translate. Who is this frog exactly? He's just a little guy. Exactly right. Just to keep my #1 spot, I created a creature that at first was a snake, but now a monitor lizard. Okay, I won't be that freak who asked people to say something in French. Yeah, I won't embarrass myself by trying to speak French on stream. My French is okay. I think I'm about a B1 level, like conversational. But you know, just because I'm around a lot of French people and I've lived in France. But yeah, I think that was one part of the project as well. I wanted to try and test myself and kind of force myself to practice my French a little bit more. But maybe in the future, we'll see. Right. He's gonna have a dark blue hat, because that the reference I'm looking at has a cool dark blue hat. Maybe a bit darker than that. There we go. I'll do all the base colors, and then I'll do the shadows after. In fact, I'll do all of his clothes first. And a bright red sash. These colors, I'm looking at a reference for an English Civil War soldier. So they're very bright colors. So we'll try. Laugh my ass off. Yeah. I'd love to give it a go, but it's typical English guy. Not the best at languages, unfortunately. There was someone else in the stream speaks French. Is it Throndix or I can't remember who it might have been. Someone else here is French, and we were chatting before in French, but well, I guess I was speaking, but maybe you guys can tell me. Do you guys have a lot of like world building stuff in your languages, like in Russian or Spanish, or Frederick? I can't remember if you're German, is that right? I remember I think there was a German guy in the stream last time. Daniel Lopez, I'm waiting for the arisen of the great frog god Gorf. Do you know, there was a bit of a cult for the frog god a while ago in some of the old videos. I think it was in the Church of the Deep video. And there was a few people who were demanding one of the frog gods. I can't remember what his name was, but yeah. Arthrondic, sorry, I've been seeing you. I didn't see your messages on Twitch. French? J'étais invoqué. Yes, it is. I haven't really found any world building project in French, no. Ah, bah c'est une niche, non? Je crois c'est toi qui commençait le world building channel de France. Je crois que ça c'est le premier channel en France. C'est toi, je crois. Throndix. Okay, that's all the French I'm going to speak for the for the stream. Throndix is probably shaking his head, like, what's this English guy saying? I'm Russian, so I know Russian and English, and that's it. Nope, I'm Russian as well. Hey, Russian friends. We've got quite an international crowd tonight. Good to have you all here. I understand and read English pretty well, but I have problems with sentence structures and speaking it all out loud. Yeah, I'm not sure how Russian is structured. I teach a lot of French people, and excuse me, it's interesting when you look at the structure of like French compared to English, and you can kind of understand why people find it quite difficult. And I think it must be the same with like Russian or I mean Spanish will be very similar to French in kind of the difficulties. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's interesting if you're learning the language to teach people who speak that language, because then you can kind of reverse engineer everything they say to help you speak their language better. That's what I've pretty much done with my French. But yeah, if you guys want to, like you were saying, Frederick, in terms of speaking out loud, honestly, it's one of my best recommendations. Maybe you could take on a student, an English student who's learning Russian, and it could help you. Same. You should take donations for speaking French. paying me to speak. It would motivate me to learn, I guess, for donations. I'm sure no one wants to hear it. Laser Crow, is there another Mexican in this chat? perhaps. I remember Daniel Lopez. Sorry if I'm wrong about that. I think you said you're from a Spanish-speaking country in a previous chat. Correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't know if it was in one of the previous streams or. Yeah, quite an international crowd. It's one thing I was really considering with my streams is like when to stream, and I think it's awesome to have such an international group of chaps here, but the problem is everyone's awake at different times, or everyone's at school. There was a few guys in the Discord who were like, "Oh, I'd love to be on the stream, but I'm in school," which I really feel. So maybe in the future I'll change to a more reasonable time for everybody, or maybe like a couple of streams at different times, but I'm not sure for the time being. It's the best I've got, unfortunately. As soon as I finish this comms, sure. Language reverse engineering is a great concept. Yeah, it works. I promise you it works. One of my favorite examples is in French. It's really typical to say things like, what was it? You would say, je prends un café. Je prends un café. And so it's like, oh, I take a coffee. And in English, we don't say that. We say, you can say that, I guess, but we typically say, I'll have a coffee. And I wouldn't have realized that if I hadn't heard so many French students use it. So it's like such a common thing. So like little things like that are really just great ways to be like, okay, right, you're secretly teaching me your language and you don't even know it. So it's worked very well for me so far. Right, this is kind of coming together. I need to do his clothes a bit more, I think. His hook hand is going to be a bit shiny as well, so that needs to stand out a bit more. He's got one of these like white fluffy collars. I was supposed to do the clothes and everything else on a separate layer, but too late now. There we go. And then boots. What colour are Cavalier boots? Kind of orange. The problem with these boots is I think they're for horse riding. Like these would be the cavaliers who would be riding horses and shooting people. But, I want to draw it like this. So that's how we're going to draw it. These have different coloured sleeves, of course. Let's try and see what colour looks nice. Maybe like a blue. Not sure. Not sure that works. We'll see. What must be messages? Rafid, I'm broke. Me too, boo. Me too, buddy. The life of an artist, unfortunately. Yeah, and Sigmas is Spanish too. Yeah, Portuguese, I think. I had a look on his Facebook page, and I think he was. I think it was Portuguese. But yeah, he's on the Discord a lot. He posts a lot. I really like his art style. It's quite like what's it called? JoJo Bizarre Adventure type thing. I'm not liking these sleeves. Maybe just do them red. Match the other red bits. That'll do for now. We can change it later. It's going to be midnight for me pretty soon, but I already broke my eep schedule. Sleep schedule, so I don't really care at this point. What horses are they riding? Well, during the English Civil War, you'd have like I guess gunners who would flank soldiers. They'd have these like, what are they called? Is it matchlock rifles or these cool pistols which they could like preload and run up to other riders and shoot them from horseback. They're pretty gnarly, but yeah. So a lot of these guys in these costumes, I think, rode horses, so they had these big horse riding boots. Yes, I need to learn a bit more about the English Civil War, I think, before commenting too much. But Frederick, you should still care about having 8 hours sleep. Very sensible, Lazy Crow. I agree. Lots of sleep, very important. Something I'm trying to fix at the moment as well. Right, the frogs I'm looking at have a kind of dirty brown colour. I'll do like a pale colour to start, and then because he's going to be an old man, and then we'll do a bit for brown. If I had to get 8 hours sleep, I should already be sleeping. Oh, too late now. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I've like set it at this time, is to try and fix my sleep schedule, because I think for me it's very normal to stay up until the early morning. Unfortunately, this guy needs longer pupils. These stretched pupils. There you go. That's more toady. He doesn't really look drunk enough, does he? How to fix that? What does a drunk person look like? Let's have a look. Drunk frog. See what Google comes up with. Okay, heavy eyelids. And then we'll do this one like as a half, like a kind of half closed eyelid, like that, and then a little bit at the bottom. And if we erase all of this and this, and then recolor it, we still need to do the shadows, so it should look a bit better with the shadows. There you go. Look at that, immediately looks more drunk. There we go. Good job. Thank you, Google. I mean, these do look pretty small. What size the horse should be? Well, actually, this guy, I'll draw a human next to him. Human will probably be about maybe this tall, next to this frog. So this next to this toad, these toads are pretty big. They're about probably about 4 feet tall, maybe. I'd say. So that's like a human stood next to him. I'll zoom in there. That's like a human stood next to him. So he's pretty tall. And that's what all of the toads of Icenia are, because they're Fey. They're pretty big. Fey in general are pretty big dudes. I get a beautiful 6 to 10 hours of sleep. That's quite a range. Don't get 10 hours anymore, but I used to. Oh, the good old days. I really like the idea of a 1 meter 50, 1 meter 55 toad guy riding a pony into battle. I'm really terrible with heights. I think 1 meter 55. Okay, yeah, nice. So that's like 4 foot, right? Exactly. So they would have. Well, actually, there's a picture of one of them when I did the toads before. Where was it? This one. So in actual Icenia where they live, they have these giant crawfish ponies, or like mules that they ride around the swamp. But I think they do use horses as well, but typically they use more aquatic animals because the swamp floods so much. It's kind of an obligation. Right, we need more bottles, I think. Let's have a look. 17th century beer bottle. Even if they bottled them. I did. Nice. So like just some big ones. They got kind of the upward like that. And they got like a label on them. Do a second one behind it. I'll do a tall one. That one's a tall one. I'll do another tall one back here. I'll do a few beer bowls just to get the message across. 1 beer versus 7 beers. Not drunk enough. Give him more booze. Yeah. No way he's like that after only 1 bottle. I mean, I would say frogs would probably be quite lightweights, right? I think they wouldn't make it very far down a pub crawl. I think a lot of them would be done by the first one. So maybe actually, when this guy's telling you stories and when you're buying him beers, his stories get more and more ridiculous because he gets extremely drunk extremely quickly. He's a lightweight, cheap date. Right, these need to be really dark colours. In fact, I'm going to change that. I'm going to do their colours on a separate tab. Do this as bottle frog, drunk frog, sorry. Just get rid of this one. This will just make it easier to colour, I think, because if I'm doing these as like supposedly transparent, I need to be on a different layer. I'll do these. I'll leave the line art on the other layer. That's fine. But the colouring needs to be a different colour. What type of drinks does the toad like? Beer, I would say. I feel like beer being like really hoppy and kind of thick. I don't know. I think it would suit. It kind of suits a toad, right? And the tone of it. I feel like maybe they like wine because they want to be like sophisticated. A big thing with them is it's a bit like the apes in the Jungle Book. They want to be like humans. They just love the way humans dress and they love their clothes and stuff like that. So they really exaggerate their cult. They're like a caricature of human culture. So yeah, they wear a lot of like human clothes. So maybe they like wine because they just love humans so much. They want to have cool stuff like them. Okay, I will do beer for now. Nice. Okay, he's looking pretty cool so far. Beer like a true drunk man, exactly right. The type of stuff that a guy drinks in a pub from 10 AM to 2 AM can't be too strong. What about swamp booze? Yeah, like moonshine. Well, maybe, yeah. It'd be cool to see a variation of the frog fae depending on the species they originate from. Like, for example, a poisonous frog fae from the rainforest being more lightweight build. And conserving their original colours, maybe bigger eyes too. Yeah, you know, I will get around to doing foreign, in inverted commas, foreign fae. So things like South America, North America, Africa, Australia. I really want to do a bunch of different fae. But for now, I'm just kind of sticking to native to the British Isles, just to keep consistent with the vibe, I guess is the best way to say it, of the acceleration. Because I feel like if I deviate too much, it's not going to be really clear. Do you know, if I did like a, because it's all based on like 17th century stuff. If I did like a conquistador, I don't know, like Spanish dog, or like a conquistador like Spanish animal, and like a South American tree frog, it would be like a completely different vibe, right? Like I guess the conquistador would probably look pretty similar to these dudes, but definitely for the fae, for like the like Central Americans, like Mayans or Aztec people, I think it would be just a completely different vibe. So I'll get around to it eventually, I think. I agree. I think it'd be really cool. It'd be a cool thing to explore. And I was thinking maybe if I do any like community stuff, I might ask people to kind of do animals from their native country as like fae. I think that could be like a cool competition to do. But yeah, I think that would be maybe a bit further in the future when the story's kind of developed a bit more. But we'll see. So I got a lot of ideas. I was like rewriting my idea list this week. I've got, let me count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 videos I have ideas for at the moment. Some of them I might never get to, and some of them I'm actually, well, one of them includes like the weird folk video that I'm working on. But yeah, so I would say it's definitely, there's a lot to come for sure into the future. Right. Guy goes from random troll hunter to frog warrior that defeated the one bird dragon through the evening, depending on the number of bites he's had. Exactly. Yeah, I like that. He's just like, the more beer he's had, the more things he's slayed. The more frog women he's been with, the more frog babies he's sired. He's a man of many talents, for sure. Oops. There's a little knife in his pocket there. Give it a dark hilt as well. Nice. Right, I'm going to do some highlights. I think he's looking pretty good. I might reduce the shadow actually so you can see his eye a bit better. Miss out on that nice orange colour. There we go. And it would be cool to see Toad Fae be more robust build and chunky since they spend more time on land. Yeah, he's not really chunky enough. Wait, let me check. Let me try something. See if we... Oh, I quite like that. What do we think? Do you like chunky Toad? Or do we prefer not chunky Toad? Let's put this here. What do we think? Is that better? That's number 1. That's number 2. Number 1, tall. Number 2, chonky. Let's do a poll. It's always good to do polls. 1, tall toad. 2, chonk toad. Which toad? Okay, tall toad or chonk toad? I won't edit it until everyone's voted. Oh, chonk toad is taking the lead. Oh, very fast. So wait, how did you get into first place? He's self-aware. The setting could end up like the World of Darkness, and the DM creates a setting of the location but applies the acceleration into it in Mexico, Brazil. Thoughts? Yes. So actually, once I finish this Toad, I'll talk a bit more about the TTRPG plans I have. But yeah, absolutely. I think that's a cool idea. Kind of like a, what's it called? Like a setting that covers different game systems, but people can kind of choose where they want to set it, I guess. Because you could have like in fact, the rules I've written so far, they do have quite general rules for like Fae and the creation of Fae. But I guess if I made them even more general, so they weren't just related to the British Isles, it could be quite useful as well. Becoming self-aware leads to bad things. How on earth did a local sci-fi novel writer go from last to first in XP? Yeah, you shot up. Excuse me. Yeah, how did you go to first place? I lost my crown, sad crow. Tall toad. Chonky toad is funnier for me, not gonna lie. I agree. I think it might have to go with chonk toad. Crow glared at me today. Be careful. Crows have good memories, and they have genetic memories as well. I think they're like children hate people that they hated. So be careful. My agents. It's a lazy crow spying on you, learning your every move. P3 shiny, nice. Right, I think we're going Chonk Toad. Chonk Toad is the winner. 5 votes to 1, I think it was. Right, Chonk Toad is staying. I need to just edit these bottles because they need to be. In fact, I'll just edit the color on the bottle. So I'm lazy. There we go. And we'll keep Chonk Toad. So yeah, the TTRPG. So one thing I'm considering, recently I've been watching a lot of devlogs, and it's like video game, like indie devlogs for video game designers. I mentioned one, I think in the previous stream, it was like Chef RPG, and I've been watching a few more recently. One of them is Dev Frog, who's making a thing called Frog Island, and his videos really give off the same vibe as Chef RPG. So kind of inspired me to think about making devlog videos for the TTRPG. And essentially what it would be is me going through my kind of design ideas and talking about like a system. So I'd say like, okay, today we're talking about combat, or today we're talking about character creation and like creating rolling up a Fae. And I think it would kind of give a different scope for the videos. I would have to edit it differently, and so it would mean I could potentially produce more content, but it would also mean that I would make more progress on the TTRPG. So I mean, do any of you guys play any tabletop games? D&D, Warhammer Fantasy, Wild Sea, Pathfinder, anything like that? Because one of the main things is, I've DM'd a few games, but I would really want to make sure that I'm kind of developing it in a cool way and not messing it up. So that's like a really important thing with the development of this game, I think. So it needs to work. So I would want to get other people's other people's thoughts on everything. I know it's important to kind of have like your own voice and stuff like that, but I don't know. I feel like it would be just an interesting thing to. That's too bright. Be different. Soft light, maybe. No. Do color dodge and just reduce it a little bit. Okay. So yeah, it's one of my ideas. Anyway, I'm hoping to kind of to start to work on the RPG as much as possible. But yeah, the important thing is just that it's fun to do and it doesn't eat up too much of the lore videos, because I really enjoy doing the lore videos and I don't want to move away from the focus of the channel. But at the same time, I think it's like it'd be a good way to kind of progress with this project and make sure that I'm moving somewhere with it, I think. What do you guys think? Daniel Lopez. I do. Nice. What do you play? Crow took first. How do you see that? Is it top fans? Ah, yeah. Throndix is third. I don't know how you see how you change position. I'm not sure how it works. D&D, let's go. I play in DM. Nice. I'll start after BG. Baldur's Gate 3 probably did so much for the gaming community, because I feel like it kind of connected like long-time fans, because it's an awesome game, but also just like brought in a bunch of gamers as well, because it's an awesome game. It's such a good game. I played through most of it by myself a couple of times, and I did a full playthrough with my brother, and it was so funny. It was just like it was like a proper D&D game. It was just like messing about and choosing the silliest options, and you have so much variety. It was such a good game. No, but the closest I got was Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, so you too, Lazy Crow. Yeah, such a good game. Honestly, it's very similar. Obviously, there's a little bit less choice to be had with Baldur's Gate 3, but it's like a super well-made game. It definitely felt like you were playing D&D to an extent. But yeah, really, honestly, really, really good representation of D&D at the table. I played Here to Slay. Doesn't really count, but I like the game. Here to Slay. Here to Slay. Or board game. It's like an RPG board game. I've seen that, yeah. It's like it's like a card game, right? A strategic card game, role-playing adventurer. Nice, they're kind of like Fae, aren't they? Magical Fae. I wish, but my friends aren't nerdy enough. Do you know, so my friends and I talked about it for a while, and eventually we ended up asking a guy on a forum if he could DM for us, and now he's like a long-time friend of ours. We're like gaming buddies now, so it worked out. And I would say a lot of us were like super against it, just because it seemed like such a geeky thing. Despite all of us being geeks, and I think it had a bit of a bad rep. It seems to be a lot cooler now. I think it's more accepted, I think, globally as like a hobby. But honestly, I would say if you can convince your friends to just sit down and game with like a good game master as well, a good GM, you'll fall into it so fast, because it's like hanging out with your friends. I don't know how old you guys are, but like maybe having a few beers and just having a funny time and just messing about. It depends how strict your DM is as well, but honestly, it's so fun. It's such an awesome thing to do with friends, like once a week, like to hang out and just play games. It's a bit stressful for the DM because they have to obviously like prep everything. But yeah, I would say for the players, it's a good time for sure. I played Here to Slay. Doesn't really count, but like that. Oh yeah, that's what you said before. Yeah. I also got my crown back. You two fighting over it. I found nerdy friends to play. Nice. Maybe I should try and set that up in the Discord. Like people who wanna do some D&D. I'm making tabs for everything, but it could be an interesting thing. You know, if people are wanting to play, it could be a good way to find other people. So I feel like we talked about it on a previous stream, and a bunch of people said the same thing. They were like, "Oh man, I'd love to play, but I've just never had the chance." Could be an interesting thing to do. Darken his little globule face things. Not sure what you call them. There we go. This is looking pretty cool. He's a bit saturated. His hook hand isn't very obvious. Maybe if I darken all of this down here, but then if I remove the darkness from here, it might stand out a little bit more. Yeah, it works a little bit. I found any friends to play with. Nice. Crow King, yay. Crown for the Crow King, bone for the Bone Throne. Off top, not gonna lie, I think Russian bourgeois would look neat. They already look really funky sometimes. Russian bourgeois. Russian bourgeois. Oh yeah. Oh, I think I followed someone on Instagram. I followed a few like dog accounts, as everybody does, and they talked about these dudes, and they're kind of like weird dogs, aren't they? They're really long. They're very cute, but then they make a lot of noise as well, and they're very fast. They're funny. Coffee Pixel, gotta go. See you later. See you later, mate. Thanks for joining us. See you next time. So then, which one should be lore dumped? MK1I revolving railgun, Eversaw AT rifle, or Obitius purifier? I mean, the first one, because that sounds like a ridiculously cool rifle. Russian bourgeois supremacy. Buy Pixel, buy coffee. Will anyone vote? Axolotl Fae. I mean, that would just be a cool one. I think just in general, some like animals around would be cool ones. Death Prince of Bel Air. Cool name. Thanks for joining us, mate. Have you heard of the skirmish game Burrows and Badgers? The miniatures would make perfect Fae folk for the acceleration. Yes, in fact, someone else sent me a message about that. Was that you? Perhaps it was you. Ah, yeah, I think it was you who sent me a message about that earlier. Yeah, so I have had their second edition rulebook in my basket on their website for ages, and I just haven't gotten around to buying it. I was saying, actually, I replied to your comment. I was just saying, I think I will get it as soon as payday comes around. I will probably jump on that. But it's like exactly what I would like to kind of make. Their setting is a bit more like Redwall, so it's like medieval. But yeah, so it's like it's not the same like century, but I was looking through some of the stuff, and they've got like Scottish hares and kilts and stuff like that. So it's pretty much the same vibe. So really cool game. If anyone hasn't seen it, I would say definitely check it out. Burrows and Badgers. I love axolotls. They are very weird little creatures, aren't they? Cool little creatures. I'm a DM. I just took my non-nerdy friends and gave them character lists. They had no choice. Best way to get people into D&D. Force them to do it, and when they have lots of fun, then they have to play with you in the future. It's just the law. Sidon, vote for. He's talking about voting for his guns. Oh yeah, MB from the message. My voice goes to the purifier. How dare you? What should be law dumps? I said something about it earlier. It wasn't me, but I'm not surprised someone else mentioned it. Oh, they have... Or maybe you liked it. You might have liked the comment instead or something. They mentioned it. It seems like a cool... it's like a really cool game that I've seen mentioned like a few times actually from people in the comments, but I've not tried the skirmish game. I've played a little bit of Warhammer and stuff, but I think I would like to try it at some point for sure. Right, let's get this frog finished, and then we can move on to the next character. This toad. How rude of me. Right, I think this is a good like preliminary sketch to start off with. Like I said, I wanted to do for this guy. I want to do a few little whatchamacallums, a few little like character sketches of like him in the pub, and then the pub scene maybe with like a few characters around, like people sat down drinking, like very Guelph inspired. But yeah, I think it could be like a cool little scene to show off. Like, do we need to do like a nice white feather here? Should I colour in this hat? Okay, that's pretty cool. Sunny, we want that number spot. No, I got a 3. More than you could possibly know. MK1 revolving railgun. Revolving railgun is a term used to describe any railgun with a revolving mechanism. MK1 is a railgun designed to be used in gun emplacements. A quick, fast firing and range solution to deal with enemy armor. God, the concept of railguns is cool, but one that can fire many rounds would just be super powerful for sure. It's one thing I wish they did better in Helldivers. I hope they update Helldivers to improve the railgun you can get, because it's like a really cool gun, but it's just not been very useful recently. Right, so we'll do a bit of a little liquid splash on the floor, and I think we'll call this guy Dunzo. If we do color dodge. Oh, excuse me. Do color dodge and then multiply. There we go. I think it looks pretty cool. Maybe give him a few more scars to make his like arrogant escapades a bit more, we could say, a bit more legitimate, but I think it looks alright. Little chunky dude. Pretty cool. That's the decision making I'm talking about. Probably standing on the table. I appreciate the law dump Sidan to get to first place. I would love to read all of it, but I think it's gonna hurt my voice. Try and get through all of this lore. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so right, choices. We've got, just for the last kind of half an hour, got 2 choices. We've got a pheasant mother with a giant spear and her 2 little baby pheasants, or a female Pine Marten Skin Trapper, who is a Fey renegade who they go into kind of the southern lands and hunt humans because humans trap fur on the Albion Isles. So skin trappers trap human and take human fur, in inverted commas, to wear. So skin trapper or like female Fey warrior. And we'll do a little poll. See what people think. So which to draw? Fey warrior woman. Fey skin trapper. See what people think. Thing is, on the realistic side, you can only have one bullet in the barrel and none in the chamber at any given time because of how they work, which prevents them from firing too fast. Wow, you're coughing a lot, Badgerman. Yeah, sorry, I was drinking water and inhaled it all. I promise I'm not sick. Tell us I like women. Both of them are women, I would say. The Fey Skin Trapper is also a female Fey. A female Pine Marten. It's up to you. Daniel Lopez, I'm back. What did I miss? Why are we talking about skin? Skin Trapper. It's a Fey who hunts humans and takes the human fur to wear. Human fur being their skin. In retaliation for humans taking animal skin. Riffy, you have a lot of lore for the second one. Your heart stays the second one, obviously. Yeah, I kind of described that one in detail and not the first one. So the Fey warrior woman is she's wearing the idea I got for her is I want to do a Fey in a traditional costume, like a female Fey in a traditional costume, and they have a thing called an arised, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is like a Gaelic traditional dress that women would wear as like a skirt, but it would also go over their shoulders. So the main idea was to kind of do a costume design with that, and to have some little chicks with her as well because they look quite cute. But yeah, I thought up a lot of lore for the skin trappers, to be honest. Since there are allowed maggots to be extracted from the chamber and fired. Oh, yeah. Like flay people. Dark. It does not shoot that fast. Machine gun, rail guns are not really possible. Well, Throndix, as we say with all fantasy, rule of cool. I think that's the way to go. That's always the thing I aim for when trying to design anything. Rule of cool. For sure. Okay, looks like Fey Skin Trapper is the way to go. Yeah, I think I kind of made a bit of a bias poll there by over-explaining the Skin Trapper, but that's fine. We'll go with that one. Okay. So, one thing I'm trying to do a bit better is like character pose. So I feel like a lot of my characters are kind of, you know, just stood still or slightly looking to the left. So like with, for example, Barnabas Theobald III of Bury St Edmunds, this guy, he's obviously stood on a bottle, he's got his finger up in the air, so he's announcing his story to the whole pub. A bit drunk. So try to do a bit of a pose there. So this one's called Mong Find, which apparently is a traditional Celtic name. Is sitting on something and pricking her finger with a knife because she's crazy. Let me just have a look. Pine Marten. I didn't grab any actual references for Pine Martens. They're very cute. Make sure I find a British Pine Marten. They're very cute, but I want to do her kind of imposing. So I'll do a couple images. Sorry, I'm just adding some images to my pure ref. That one's a good one. And then if I go on my Pinterest and say a bit of a dark thing to search for, but human skin cloak. Skin cloak. Let's see if we can find a cool one. There was a really good painting that someone did of, what's his name? The person who touched everything and it turns to gold. Human skin clothes. It's gonna be kind of like leather, a bit like that. Okay, that's quite good. The thing is, these guys are kind of like against, obviously, like animals being skinned. So they need to kind of just be, oh, it's like an AI image, isn't it? They need to just be wearing leather and not any fur. So I'll get a couple of references and then and pick one of them. I'm going to try and find a way to share my pure ref screen at some point, but yeah, for now I'm just going to have to live with it, I guess. Sorry, what did I miss? So let's have a look. Yeah, creepy one. I need to rap about Yale guns. It's so good. I have trouble writing women. I've been avoiding adding them because I am bad. Any advice for writing people of the opposite gender? No matter what I do, I can get first. Yeah, I'm not really sure how the top fan thing works. For writing women, I really recommend the book Red Rising. It's like a 6-part series. It's very long. It's a fantastic book. They do really good stuff about railguns. But the way that he writes women is great. They're very strong. They have conversations with more than just women, which I can't remember what the test is called to see if a woman is written well in a story. But they're very well written. So it's a good one to check out. It's called Red Rising. Really, really good book. If anyone's not read it. As a fan of Redwall, I'm always wanted to write an animal xenofiction setting. To the animals, humans would be mythological cryptids described as headless men with a face on their torso because someone once found a headless statue. That's a cool idea. So it's like humans were like the precursors and animals kind of only know about them in rumor or something. That would make for like a cool story. You should do that, man. Death Prince. If you're not in the Discord, I would say it's a good place to check out. If you are writing some stuff, it's a good place to add it there. You know, people like Sidan have a story in there. I think Throndix is got some illustrations, and a few of the guys have like shared a bunch of their projects. So it's a good place to share it if you are writing something. Riffy, I'm a woman, and we're kind of speaking right now. So you're doing great. Good. One piece of advice I read online is not to overthink gender. That's a good piece of advice for sure. I think that is a problem for people because I guess people write what they associate with, and so if it's like a male author, I guess they kind of write from the male perspective, which I guess sounds kind of simple, but it's true. And so, like you said, if they kind of overthink it, they would just think, oh gosh, you know, the other person, the other gender's perspective would be very different from mine. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's good advice. Just write a woman like you would write a cool male character, and it should work out. I finished a drawing of a devourer. It's in the Discord art. Let me check it out. Let's have a look. There's a few things on there. Oh, cool. If I can I share images in chat? Not sure if I can. I cannot. Okay. That's cool. That's really, really cool, Lazy Crow. I like your style because it's kind of like with a lot of your stuff. I feel it's like you've got really good line work. It's one thing I really struggle with you know, traditional art is actually getting the line work written working like well enough to share really, because I find like with digital art I can kind of mess about with it a lot, but with line art Yeah, or with traditional like book illustrations. I always really struggle. Differences and to just write women more or less like men. Okay, so everyone's given kind of the same advice. I think that's very good advice for sure. I want to write them properly and not just be shorter men. Hey, do you know Brienne of Tarth was not a shorter man. She was a very, very well written character. Even in the TV series, I think she's such a cool knight. And even like the TV series, I think the actress did her very well. Is there only fae or real life animals, or can there be mythical ones like unicorns, jackalopes, stuff like? Or maybe there's at least legends such as fae. I don't know. No, it's all kind of actual animals, like real life animals. But they are. It was actually one of the original ideas I had for the acceleration. Is I was going to do real animals as fae, but they would be represented by like they would be called names of like mythological animals. So like bird fae would be called harpies, and seal fae would be called selkies, and then you'd have banshees and like all these kind of things. But they would still be real animals that were like fae, but they would have these kind of mythological names. But I was like, I'll just do animals instead. I don't know if it was laziness or just thought it was kind of pointless. And so I just went with this kind of thing and just did them as like a generalization of just, okay, these guys are fae. But yeah, I think it's kind of worked out okay. In my sci-fi, there's no aliens. I quite like that. In Red Rising, so the one I was talking about, is there's no aliens in that. They've got like a lot of science fiction technology, like the space travel and mech suits and things like that. I think you'd like it, Saidan. It's a really, really good book. It's called. But yeah, they don't have aliens in it as well, and it's like really compelling sci-fi, despite not having any aliens in it. Alright, this pine marten is not really looking like a pine marten, so let's change that. What did I do? They've got kind of wider faces. Their ears. Oops. Their ears are a bit more on the edge. Like that. There we go. And this one's going to have a big gnarly scar, because scars are cool. Just going to change the eyes. It's a bit better. He's more of a snout. And there you go. Looks a bit more like a pine marten. Or a hyena. I guess. Everyone, it's getting late. I must rise from the bed early tomorrow. Therefore, I see myself forced to leave your company. Well, thanks for dropping in, mate. Always appreciate you being here. Sleep well, and we'll see you in the Discord, or we'll see you next time, mate. Please have a nice end of stream, a nice week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Have a great day, friend. Oh no, Saidan. You've dropped to 4th as well. Riffy and Daniel have taken over. The competition steepens. Okay, I kind of want to make this guy look kind of creepy. That's an important thing. So I need to give him kind of leather, lots of leathers. So this like female pine marten. So it's going to be lots of strips of skin. Again, these guys are going to be a bit of like a darker faction, but the whole premise with them is obviously that humans would take animals and take their fur and take and use traps to get them, and obviously skin them for their fur. So they would be using them for all these different things. So this faction called the Skin Trappers, it's a working title. I might change the name. Just basically do the same thing but with humans. It's like they don't even really need it. It's just as an act of vengeance. So she does need to look a bit chunkier. In fact, we'll take the head. Oops. And we'll make the body chunkier. Oops. Like smaller legs. Like that. There we go. Make the head just a bit smaller. And then combine the two. I think once there's a bit of colour in it, it'll look a bit better. We can get rid of this background image now. Kind of looks like just a human with a animal head, but I'll change that in a second. As I said before, matching. Should have wrote fantasy instead. That's it. Sci-fi. You went the wrong way. Right, so I'm gonna do loads of like leather strips. We'll do it as quite a like muscly mercenary type. Don't really like the legs. Let's get rid of that weird wonky leg. I was looking at like trapper images online, and a lot of them are like from the Americas in the 17th century, like Native Americans and like Native Canadians and stuff. So it doesn't quite fit the same vibe, especially because they're obviously wearing like a lot of animal feathers. Oh gosh, this looks awful. Right, we're gonna start again. I don't really like this. In fact, we'll keep the head. Drop. We'll get rid of the rest. Let's start again. See if I can find a cool image. Of a skin trapper. Okay, I've got a good one here. So we'll do it as more of like disheveled look. Maybe a bit of an angle on the head. A bit more depth. But then keep the kind of idea with all the leathers as well. Maybe we can make it super Warhammer. She can have a skull on her jacket. Human leather is uncomfortable. I prefer the leather you get from stores. I'm not going to ask how you know that, Saidan. So as not to incriminate us. But I believe you. I think it would probably be very uncomfortable. These guys don't exactly wear the leather to be comfortable. It's literally just because humans do it, and it's like, oh, well, if you do it, then we'll do it. So they have a bunch of nasty bits. She's going to have a big rifle slung over her back. this. And then gun barrel down here. We could do that, making that a bit straighter. Go. This is looking better already. I think sometimes like you have an idea in your head of how you want it to look, and then as soon as you start drawing it, like, nah, that looks terrible. So I think this immediately looks better. Kind of goes against what I was saying before about having a cool pose. She's just kind of doing the standard stood to the left, but whatever, it works. So maybe instead of having like her covered in leather, you can have almost like a tartan cloak of human skin that she wears. She's going to be holding her butcher's knife. Let's combine these two. And these guys don't exactly hide that they kill humans because they live in the forest. Little beasties. I'll say the Fae don't agree with their tactics because the whole point in the Fae in Caledonia is they're trying to like unite everybody. And the Queen of the Fae is like, okay, everybody can come to Caledonia. It's all peaceful, but of course it's not working out because some of the Fae are like, no, humans suck. You know, we shouldn't be friends with them. And then some of the other Fae are like, no, other Fae suck. You know, I'm a deer, and you want a wolf to join us? Hell no, that's a terrible idea. So there's going to be a lot of like division amongst the Fae themselves. And so it's like, what? Okay, I won't do any spoilers actually. I was about to say a book that I'd already recommended, but there's a big spoiler in there. So yeah, it's like a standard, okay, these factions are together, but they're not working together type thing, is the main idea. Adding a face to the part of the leather armor could give a really creepy vibe. That is a great idea, so that's exactly what we're going to do. King Midas, that's the name. There's a really cool King Midas illustration. King Midas. Found it. Okay. There's a really awesome King Midas illustration where he's got like a leather cloak. But the leather, of course, is made from human skin. So it's like a variety of colours. And like it's got like tattoos and stuff on it. And it's got like ears and mouths and things. So it's a really cool idea. So I'm gonna try and copy a little bit of that. Or take inspiration from it. Duckus, hello mate. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you here. We're just working on a skin taker fae, skin trapper, who hunts humans. We just finished, or kind of finished, this frog. His name is Barnabas Theobald III of Bury St Edmunds. He's a drunk ex-troll hunter, well, supposed ex-troll hunter, who likes to chat shit in the pub and pretend like he knows what he's doing. Would animals that are cannibalistic continue to do so as fae? Yeah, I would say so. I would say like I'm not sure if birds are. I would imagine they are. Like if they were to find maybe like they would hunt each other. I guess to an extent. I'm not really sure of any cannibalistic animals in the British Isles. It's almost like I feel like it's a thing that is naturally evolved against itself, right? That animals don't practice cannibalism very often in nature. Maybe someone can correct me there if I'm wrong, but Right, I was looking at this King Midas sketch. I'm going to use that as influence. Nice. It's gonna be a bit creepy, but don't blame me. You gotta blame Daniel Lopez. I'm gonna put the blame on you, mate, even though it's an awesome idea. There you go. And if we just kind of erase the lines a little bit. So it kind of blends in with the cloak. Yeah, so like a troll, if it came across another troll, would absolutely fight it. It's one thing I've thought about is like trolls in the forest generally don't last a long time. They don't grow very big because they don't last a long time because other things find them, like other trolls or giant animals or dragons or humans find them and eventually take them out. So the trolls in the forest are not like the biggest ones, but the trolls in the ocean, however, where they've got like a lot more room to roam and they've a lot more smaller animals to feed on, are much more likely to grow. So you have these giant trolls in the ocean who are just quite unstoppable. So yeah, it's definitely a big thing with trolls. It's just they'll try and take on everybody essentially. So no first place, the damn avian stole it. He was talking about bird fate. Trying to focus on work. Just trying at this point. Could they take mine, please? That's why we're all here. Oh, has the stream gone black? Why is it black? Can you guys see the stream? Why is it black? What? Why is it doing that? Did it disconnect? That's strange. Oh, okay. Don't know how long that was black for. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was like focused on my iPad, so I wasn't actually looking at the stream. Okay, that should be back up now. Can you guys see anything now? It should be okay now, I think. Let me know if you still can't see. Okay, it's back. Okay, sorry about that. The ants are stealing people's jobs. I know. I'm going to start trying to deport Faye now. Oh dear. Skin takers, what they got. Surprisingly dark quite fast. Yeah, I would say it's gonna be quite a dark faction because I feel like the Fae so far, other than like the cults, have been quite whimsical, but the Fae for this faction are very much not whimsical. So yeah, definitely dudes to watch out for. Maybe we'll draw an ear here. Oh god, I'm terrible at drawing ears. I need an ear reference. Where's a good ear? There's a good ear. Some body parts which are just universally difficult. I feel like it's ears, hands, and feet. So one of the advantages of drawing Fae is you can just do their feet like this. And it doesn't matter, because it's a Fae. Grey seals are apparently cannibals, really? I didn't know that. Apparently there's no cannibalistic species in the British Isles. I didn't think so, because I remember there was the big thing about mad cow disease, where it's like they've eaten their own species, right, and it causes like a problem with the brain. So yeah, I guess and that was in Australia, I think. So maybe it's not so present in the UK. big knife. Okay, but like how snake fae would look like? Like, do they get arms because of magic or what? So the video I'm doing next is about weird folk, and it's going to be it's going to explain it a little bit. So it's going to be like I'll show you some of the pictures actually for the weird folk video. So weird folk are essentially any fae that come from scary animals. So for example, just to get all these up. For example, sharks would be an example of a weird folk because obviously they're quite intimidating. So they would just be naturally like that. Ants are, and a lot of insects are as well. They're just scary in general. So people really wouldn't want to interact with them too much. Wolves and other like more serious predators like bears would be examples of weird folk because people would be scared of them. Bugs in general. Bit of a spoiler there. So a lot of them would live in like isolated communities, but then you'd have guys like this. So this is a crab fae who hasn't really mutated too much. He's just mutated a little bit, so he's got the intelligence. He's sentient, but he's still a crab. He's just a big crab. So these are kind of like half mutated fae. They haven't evolved fully. So things like mice that are still the same size as mice, or humans that have kind of are a bit taller but are not, maybe they're like human giants as well would be considered fae just because of their size or their shape more than anything. So a snake fae, for example, would be a weird folk, and they probably wouldn't have any arms. They would just be a normal snake, but they would be weird folk anyway because people would be scared of them. Seal fae with a tail would probably be considered a bit of a weird folk because of just the way they look. And that's just an image. And then the pear salesman bat bombardier. This guy, he would be weird folk as well because he's just kind of scary looking. So that's the main idea: is these scary looking guys are the ones who are considered weird folk in general. Troll whale has entered the chat. Yeah, exactly. So you'd have these like giant troll whales, giant troll orcas, or seals, or sharks, or things like that. Like a troll swordfish would be like a cool one. Lots of different types of trolls in general. But all of them roam in the sea together. Hands are hellish. Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's one thing I avoid. You'll see a lot of my hands look like this, where it's like kind of the idea of a hand, but it's not really. There's a similar thing that happens if humans eat the brain of a primate. There's a germ that destroys the brain, causing non-stop laughter, the fear in the crab's eyes. So I think it's called mad cow disease, right? It's from the incident that happened with the cows. And I think it's just, like you said, it's like a evolutionary thing that kind of kills off humans who eat meat from particular primates because they're so similar to us. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's like an evolutionary trait that I think a lot of animals share. I guess it's to stop it from spreading, because I guess it would be quite devastating if everybody just started eating each other. Make the knife a bit more sinister. It still looks like a hyena, so I need to do a bit of a better pine marten. Where is it? There he is. Okay. If I start to colour him, he'll probably look a bit better. So they have quite brown fur. There you go. That immediately looks better. But we're going to give him a big scar, actually. So he's going to have, like, perhaps experienced dealing with humans, or she's going to have experience dealing with humans, so she's going to be not a very nice creature, but just because she's not had a very nice life. Maybe a missing ear would be kind of cool. And in fact, we'll colour before we start doing the details. This nice pink shade. Just because the majority of her outfit is going to be pink. Yeah, the fear in the crab's eyes, yeah. With that little crab fae guy. I was going to do that as like an individual story of some people bullying a crab fae, but yeah, it's going to be just a way to show that people are not very respectful of these kind of half-evolved fae who can't really stand up for themselves. Just like a little crab dude who's going about his business, but he just gets bullied. Poor guy. I've already coloured this in, but if I just do everything the same colour, then at least it's universal. There we go. Nice. Okay. Giant troll barracuda would be horrifying. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. In England, we have pike, and pike are pretty scary. I'll show you a pike. I think you have them in Canada as well. And they look a bit like barracuda. Animal reference. Where is it? I think I have a reference of one. I did it as in like the giant video a while ago. But they're pretty creepy looking animals. Oh, maybe I don't have a reference. Ah, here you go. So this would be a pike. They have almost like alligator. It's a bit like an alligator gar, I think, in North America. They have big sharp teeth. And it's the sort of thing that would like attack a big duck or a swan. But yeah, a giant one of them. Pretty scary. Instead of aliens, I use humans evolved on different planets, meaning uncanny valley. Is that all-time high in racism? Oh dear. Yeah, I like that. It's kind of like proto-humans, or whatever they're called, where it's like humans who've grown, who've like evolved in a different climate. A bit like The Expanse, where you've got humans from the asteroids who are longer and they've got like lower bone density, but they're just better suited for like long-term exposure in low gravity environments. I think that's like a cool thing. And then you have that kind of uncanny valley thing because they're just super long. But yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, I think you're right. That makes me think of that one book that goes into the far-flung future where humans get mutated by an alien race. Oh, I don't know which book that is. So snake folks are basically like the snake dude from Bad Guys. Yeah. Or yeah, like Ducker says, from Rango. That was what I was thinking actually, with the rattlesnake from Rango. He's just got a hat on, and he's just a scary dude. Exactly, pretty much. I think he is. If he did like a snake fae, he would be just essentially just a snake with a hat. But yeah, I think he would still be a pretty scary dude. Right, this dude is covered in scars. And then we'll do a couple of skin variety colours. This one a bit paler. So obviously his cloak is not all going to be collected from the same person. There's going to be a variety of colours. Gosh, that immediately looks much grimmer. That's super dark. I love it. There we go. That's a bit too dark, that one. Nice. And then she is going to have some scars on her face. She needs to be more of a pinkish colour. Maybe like a white eye. A bit darker. A bit creepy. Nice. So I'm just catching up. All tomorrow's. And before the crab face sells the best weapons in all of Morrowind. I bet than any avian. Ah, you're number one. Good job. Has he got a human face on his face, or is that a burn or scar? Ah, that just kind of look like just like a human skin. It's supposed to be a scar. What I'll do is I'll give her a like a white eye, like a milky eye, more pink, I guess. And yeah, I'll make her skin a bit more scarred, veiny, a bit gross. Oops, is that in the wrong? Oops. It does kind of look like a face mask, doesn't it? When I do the shading, it should look a bit better, I think. I'll do like a milky eye color. And then she's going to have just like a normal dark cloak. In fact, I'll do a cloak green. I'll do it underneath, just so it stands out a bit from the rest. Maybe like tartan cloak or something. Might change the cloak colour, but let's do it as like a standing colour for now. That's looking pretty gnarly. Pretty dark. Brown hands. There we go. Hate it when I do stuff on the wrong layer. It's awful. Yeah. Very green. I might change that green actually. It's a bit too green. Let's have a look. If I just kind of desaturate it, because we want her to look a bit gross as well. Maybe like maybe do like a fleshy brown colour. That looks a bit better. Oh gosh, it's a bit dark, isn't it? Actually, this is supposed to not be. This is supposed to be a gun. Oops. Nice. Looks pretty. I think it's looking pretty good so far. Oh gosh, I've just seen the time. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go as well. It's a bit late already. I didn't realise how late it was. We support women's rights and wrongs, yeah, even if they are skin trapping pine martens. I want to away my bard friend. Today is a friend's birthday. I want to spend some time with him. See you folks. Take care. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, appreciate you dropping in, mate. We'll see you again soon, I'm sure. I'm going to go as well. I think we'll end the stream there. I'm pretty happy with that. Managed to get quite far with these 2 character drawings. Like I said, I'm going to do a few smaller drawings with these dudes. I'll work on this one a bit more, and maybe come back to this one as well. But I like it. I think it was a good one. Got some good intakes from everybody. But yeah, I appreciate you all of you guys being in here. It's really nice to have you here every week, just to chat and crack on with some nice drawings. 22:40. Yeah, it is late. Yeah, I got early start tomorrow, so I need to make sure I'm get a good night's sleep. Right. Well, Sidan, Frederick, Riffy, Duckus, Daniel, Death Prince. Appreciate all you guys being here. Yeah, it's been good chatting with you. Lazy Crow as well. Who have I missed? Throndix left earlier, didn't he? But yeah, appreciate all you guys being here. It's good to have so many people in the chat. Love being Canadian. Yeah, you got a bit more time. And I'll see you guys. Like I said, if you guys want to join, if any of you guys are not in the Discord, feel free to jump in. It's a good place. I'd say most of the guys in this stream are in the Discord, and they share their art and some of their projects and stuff. So if anyone's keen, I'll share a link. Feel free to jump in. It's good to hear about other people's projects and stuff like that. So, but I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys either there, or I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening, or good night, or good morning, whatever time it is for you. Cheers, guys. Until next time.